about the right mindset you should have when you're writing the CAT paper. Different for different slots. Mindset makes a lot of difference in your scores. If you have a right mindset, it can make a lot of difference. Been training students for more than 23 years. We do train students for other entrance exams like XAT, SNAP, etc. Also for interview preparation. So if you're interested, you can contact us for the different courses that we have for the entrance exams. So should we have a different mindset for each slot? Yes, because what happens is each mind slot, the people who are going will have a different information that is there. When what people go for the first slot will be different for second slot, will be different for third slot. So slot one will have the least information. I mean, they're going there with some information, obviously, about what the exam pattern could be overall, but lesser information because there could be changes. We have seen in the past that there have been changes. For example, DLR from 20 questions there have been 22 questions. There have been changes with the type of question. Jumble para is certainly not there in the exam. Some changes could be there, which people slot one are not aware. Slot 2 and slot 3 will get a review from slot 1. Right. Slot 2 will have some information from slot 1. So when the slot 1 people come out, there's a gap which is there. So they get some information, but not a complete information. But slot 3 will have more information. They will have a detailed information from slot 1 and some information from slot 2 as well. What's the right mindset for slot 1? My suggestion is one is read the instruction carefully. I have known cases where people have gone in the slot, they thought it was a jumble para question, but it turned out to be different because they normally what they have read in the mocks, they tend to put that same in the examination. So that means if there's a different type of question which comes, you will not be aware about it. But yes, you cannot waste too much time. I mean, reading instruction for every question makes sense. You need to have a keywords which are there, which you can identify. Oh, this or is there means the or one out. Jumble and something like that. I mean, you need to have a keyword to identify type of questions which are there. You also don't have any idea about difficult level of paper. Slot 2 will have some idea, maybe some little, though it's not very reliable, but slot 1 has no idea. Paper could be extremely tough, paper could be extremely easy. So learn to be relaxed. I mean, what is known as that people who are more relaxed in the examination tend to perform better. So avoid keeping targets because you don't know a difficult level of paper. If the paper is too tough, okay, and you have kept high targets, so automatically you will come under stress. Or the paper is too easy and if you have low targets, you may not be able to reach your target because you will not push yourself that much. So go with the flow of the paper, okay, because keeping targets and not meeting your targets could create additional stress. Also go with the mindset that if the paper is difficult for you, it is difficult for everyone. I mean, technically you find the paper going tough, it is tough. If the paper is easy, it will be easy for everyone. Then push yourself. So accordingly, go about the paper. Go with an open mindset in the examination. You need to be absolutely flexible in the exam. People who normally panic less tend to perform better in the slot. As a matter of fact, most of the people panic. So that means if you're the one who panic less, you will tend to perform better. So that means you have a higher chance of performing well in the exam. The key in this slot is learning to relax and having less in the exam. Understand that everyone panics, and more so in slot 1. So lesser, the better. So find slot 2. Okay, we'll have some information from slot 1. But remember, information will be incomplete. Why? Because a lot of people, when they come out of the examination, they give based on what their perception of the exam is. And every individual have a different perception. I mean, I've known this. We go and talk to one person, ask, how was the DLR? Oh, very tough. And you ask the second person, oh, very easy. I mean, that's how it works. So you don't get a complete information, but you get some idea about the pattern of the paper. So know the pattern, find out, because the pattern will remain same across the slot. So at least you will know the pattern of the paper. You can get some idea of difficulty level of the paper from the slot 1, but don't completely rely on it. I mean, people whom you know, can trust, you can talk to them. But yes, still be flexible because difficulty level keeps changing across levels. So there could be difference in perception of students, and because of which the review you get from different sources could be different. Even if you get the same review, be a little flexible because whatever you review you get in short term could be different from a long term review. So could plan your paper based on review. When someone says that, oh, the verbal has been very easy, you can plan the paper based on that, but be flexible. Okay. Don't rely completely on that. I mean, for example, last year the DLR section was comparatively easy. I mean, the slot 1, the slot 2, slot 3 also was comparatively easy. I'm not saying it's not as tough as the previous year's CAT paper. So there will be difference in difficulty level across slots. So slot 1, slot 2, slot 3 will have difference in difficulty level. Yes, that is across the slots. But compared to the previous year, we know that it will be slightly more easier. So you do have flexibility in terms of how you write the paper, how the difficult level is, but you get a fair idea as to okay, it could be slightly easier or a little bit easier than last year or something on that. So you can keep some target but be flexible based on how the paper goes. We have known that across slots there have been change in difficult level of paper. That does makes a difference when you write the paper as such. So don't completely rely. Know some pattern, know some area what you need to do, but yes, be flexible. The key for the slot two people is learn to be flexible as far as possible in the examination. Slot 3 will have a lot of data. I mean, they have all the information about slot 1 plus some information on slot 2. But remember, the paper can be unpredictable. Okay, because there have been cases where the slot 3's difficult level has been different from slot 1 and 2. So people who have gone in the examination knowing the difficult level of slot 1 and 2 have panicked in slot 3 because they were not able to match it. Okay, because people from 1 and 2 said, oh, the paper was quite easy, you could solve three sets. But the people who went to slot 3 found the paper difficult and they could only solve two sets, to lead to panic. So be flexible. It's okay. Each slot, each question, take it as a case. You can better plan the paper, yes, because you have ample time to know the whole pattern of the paper, difficult of the papers. You can plan the strategy properly. I mean, it helps to plan it. But be flexible. I mean, even if you have planned the paper, you know the paper hand beforehand with the idea of the paper, but be flexible because difficult level of paper could change across section, and because of which a lot of things would change. So plan your strategy before you go exam, but again, be flexible. That's important. You have a better, and slot three people have better chance of planning the paper better with fixed mindset. But no matter what, if you find something not going as per plan in the examination, be flexible as far as possible. Right? We'll come up with more videos that will help you with regards to writing the CAT, preparing for the CAT. All this.